Hi, I'm Brandon with Dwell Mortgage.
And I'm Jeff with John L. Scott. And
this
is Homes and Loans.
All right, Jeff, so I've got a real life real estate situation that I want to walk through with you.
Ooh,
I need your expertise, okay?
Okay.
And we're going to use Monopoly to kind of break this down.
Okay.
So I've got 6 buyers with their eye on Virginia Avenue here.
Ooh.
Okay, so here's Virginia Avenue right here. Boom, for sale.
Okay.
Right? And it's for sale for, what'd you put this up for?
We listed it for $400.
Listed for $400.
Yep.
So we got all these buyers that came to the open house.
Yep.
Okay? Let's just say that these 3 guys here decided to pass on
Okay.
it, right? But Mr. Shoes, whoever that is, the horse, and then this other set of shoes, don't judge, 2 different sets of shoes here, decided they want to compete on this listing.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And what did you say it was listed at?
400.
400. So we're gonna let's just get $400 out here, just to make this real. So this is listed at 400, right? Boom, yep. Virginia Avenue, 400. Okay.
Yep.
Actually, Thimble had a little timeout and thought about it.
Okay.
And they're like, I want to come back into the market.
Tomorrow at
yeah, they want to come back in the market, but this time they're cash buyers at what? 450. Does that sound about right?
That's a good
Feels
offer.
pretty good. So they're going to sit over here with their 450 and be a cash buyer on Virginia Avenue. Okay? These guys are all financing, meaning they're getting a loan,
yep.
getting a mortgage, and they're all coming to the table with their $500 pre-approval for Virginia Avenue.
Okay.
This isn't an uncommon situation, is it?
No, not at all.
Okay, Jeff, so walk us through then, like, how does this play out?
Yeah, so as the listing agent,
Yeah.
or as the seller, they're looking, obviously, these 3 people are all offering higher than the cash 450, right?
Okay.
But we all know if financing's involved, that means appraisal's involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do these guys distinguish themselves?
It's a great question.
That's the question of the day.
Community chest out of the way, give us a little space here because we got to do some wheeling and dealing.
All right.
Okay.
So let's say the pair of shoes here, he says, okay, obviously we bid the house up over.
Mm-hmm.
If it appraises low, I can pay an extra $1 towards appraisal.
Fair enough.
So let's say the house appraises for $475.
Mm-hmm.
He can't pay $500 because the bank won't give him that
Sure,
much, but he can pay $476.
Okay.
Now let's say Cowboy over there, he's got an extra $5 towards appraisal.
He's been saving his money during COVID.
Yes, he has been. So now he can do $480. Now the single shoe over there, he's really been saving his money. He can do an extra $20 towards appraisal.
He might even got gift funds from grandma.
He might have.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
So now they can do $495. So that's really close to the $500 that he was originally offering. Cash buyer over here doesn't have to worry about appraisal. So this is a $450 offer all day.
Yeah. So the seller's kind of looking at this going, less risk here for me,
Yes.
but less money, right?
Potentially, yes.
Lower price.
Yep.
Right? And this guy doesn't have a ton of things to worry about,
Nope.
whereas all 3 of these guys still have to qualify for a loan.
Exactly.
Right? So they've done a little bit of work here to differentiate themselves, but that's not the only thing you can do as a buyer, right?
Exactly. Because how would $1 guy distinguish himself versus these 2?
Sure. Because even if he's $1 over appraisal or whatever, lower
Yeah.
in the event of a low appraisal, what if seller takes this guy and his loan doesn't close?
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what the
Right?
dollar amount is. Yep.
So financing plays a huge role. So one of the things that these guys can do
Yep.
is do a lot of work up front, not a lot of work, but put in the time to get fully pre-approved, right? And one of the things that I always encourage clients to do is go through the underwriting process before you go out and make offers on homes. Not only will that give you more peace of mind knowing that an underwriter reviewed and approved your scenario,
Okay.
but it'll allow you to move quicker. It's one of the things we haven't talked about, right, is speed.
No.
Because this guy wants to sell quick.
Yeah.
Most of them do.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So
They've
what-
got another house to buy, or they're moving out of state,
Yeah.
or whatever the case
Yeah,
is.
they don't want to just sit around and wait for a loan to close, right? So this guy that's making a cash offer, he's usually able to close pretty quickly.
Yeah, 2 weeks or
Right?
less.
2 weeks or less.
Yep.
So these guys getting financing have to present themselves in such a way that that's not a risk to the seller,
Yep.
right? They can close quickly. And what we know about financing is there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of steps, and it takes time.
Yep.
So by getting fully underwritten ahead of making an offer, they can take a lot of that time out of the equation.
They
Because
can.
they've already been through underwriting.
Yep.
One of the other things that they can do is work with a lender that has a seller guarantee.
Ooh, talk
Have
to me
you heard
about
of that, Jeff?
No. So if I'm the listing agent, why do I want that seller
So,
guarantee?
so for example, we have a $10,000 seller guarantee at Dwell Mortgage,
Okay.
which for any of our certified home buyers, which
Mhm.
is just a fancy way of saying our buyers that have gone through the underwriting process,
Okay.
if we fail to close on their loan, we will pay the seller $10,000.
Wow.
Because we like to put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah.
I mean, we believe in our system and our process, and we believe we can put the client in the best possible position to qualify for the home
That's
and
awesome.
close on it.
Okay.
Close on it,
Yes.
right?
That's
So
what we all want.
a seller guarantee, because I think at the end of the day, all the seller wants to do is take as much risk out of the equation as possible.
Yes.
Right?
Get as much money
Yep.
and close.
Yep.
For the most part.
For the most part. I mean, there's other factors that come into play, but yeah, the fully underwritten pre-approval, the seller guarantee. One of the other things that we offer right now is a 7-day appraisal guarantee,
Oh wow.
meaning we'll have your appraisal done and completed and the report returned within 7 days.
And that helps take a lot of the anxiety out of the whole
Yeah,
process.
there's an
Yep.
emotional component, but appraisals notoriously are the longest part of the loan
Yep.
process.
The one we're all holding our breath on.
Right, and what we know about our market right now is the appraisers are busy.
Yep.
Rates are still low, so people are still refinancing. There's a lot of activity in the market, so appraisers are busy.
Yep.
It's not uncommon to see an appraisal take 2 weeks.
Ow.
In some more rural areas, 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Ooh.
So anything that we can do to take the sting out of that and get that appraisal back sooner allows us to close quicker
Awesome.
and have more certainty.
Okay.
The seller wants more certainty, the buyers want more certainty because they have waived things,
Yep.
right? Tell me about some of the things buyers are waiving right now, Jeff.
So buyers are waiving inspection,
Yep.
which is pretty common. Now, what's nice is maybe the seller did a pre-inspection,
Yep.
and you can review that report. That's not always the case.
Here's
though.
the inspection report
Yep,
right there.
There it is.
Clean as a whistle.
Yep.
Nothing on it.
Great condition house. So you'll look at that inspection report. If you determine that it's to your liking and you've reviewed the inspector that did it, it's not Joe Blow's uncle that did the inspection, it's a certified company.
Licensed,
Yep,
bonded.
exactly.
Yeah.
Then, that you can be fairly confident in waiving your inspection contingency. There's also waiving financing. So a lot of people don't know this. You can waive financing even though you're obtaining a loan.
Right.
So in that case, if you're working with a local lender, such as yourself, and you're underwritten, you can waive your financing contingency.
Yeah. You can waive it anytime you want, but
Yeah.
do you want to? I mean, probably not. I wouldn't want to wait, because what happens if you waive your financing and your loan doesn't close, Jeff? What's the risk to the buyer?
Lose your earnest money.
So if I put $50,000 up
Yep.
in earnest money, which is probably an excessive number, it's
Yeah.
a little bit of an exaggeration.
But even if it's 10 or 20,
Yeah.
I mean, it took you a long time to save that money.
I'm just giving
Yeah.
that over to the seller if my loan doesn't close.
Yep.
So for me to feel comfortable waiving my financing, I want to have as close to 100% certainty that I'm going to get a loan,
Exactly.
right?
You want to be rock solid on
Which
your
is where that
lending.
underwriting comes into play, the
Yep.
guarantee.
Yep.
You know that if we're willing to pay $10,000 to the seller,
Yeah.
we're sure we're closing your loan.
Yep.
I don't want to pay $10,000 to the seller, to be honest with you. So we've
Yeah.
done everything that we need to. So any other contingencies people are waiving right now that you see?
I mean, cash buyer over here doesn't have an appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
So if this guy over here has a bunch more cash laying around, he might waive appraisal entirely. So
Okay.
he could say even if it appraises at sell value or list value, he still has the cash to come up with it.
Right.
So he could be guaranteeing that he's getting to 500 or lose his earnest money.
Got it.
So there's a few other tricks out there. If the seller needs a rent back and only 2 of the buyers are willing to give that to them, then maybe that's super important to them.
The list is endless for
It
possibilities.
really is,
right?
yeah. It's on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
But
I think the theme that I'm hearing, Jeff, is the more you know,
yes,
the better
your offer can be.
you can, and the better you'll feel about taking these additional risks as a buyer.
Yep.
Right? The better education you have, the better partnerships that you've entered into with your real estate agent like Jeff or your lender
Like
to help
Brandon.
navigate these things,
Yeah.
these nuances with the market right now, the better off you'll be. And then it might even end up being that who's selling? Is Scotty Dog selling
Scotty
Virginia
Dog
Avenue?
selling. Yep.
So Scotty Dog, let me stand him upright. He keeps falling over because he can't believe how much he's getting for his house. He might even take, the horse offer here, even
Yeah.
though it's not the highest offer, but he knows the lender,
Yep.
he trusts the lender, they've presented themselves in such a way that this is the most compelling offer for the seller.
Yep.
It's not the cash offer, it might not even be the highest offer,
Yep.
and it wasn't the lowest offer. So you just never know. You want to set
Yep.
yourself up for success by doing everything that you can
Exactly.
to be able to close with speed and close with certainty.
Yep. So a good lender and a good real estate partner.
Yep.
That's what you need to win.
I'm Brandon with Dwell Mortgage.
I'm Jeff with John L. Scott, and we'll
See you next time.